Thor stood before the crumbled Avengers Tower, not as a brother in arms, but as a god torn between worlds. The betrayal wasn't his, but it felt like his burden to carry. Captain America begged him to stay, but Thor turned his back. Across the multiverse, Wonder Woman waited, sword drawn. Batman knew Thor's arrival changed everything. But why would the god of thunder betray Earth's mightiest heroes? And what secret mission did the Justice League give him that the Avengers never could? It started with silence, the kind that only comes after betrayal. Thor stood alone above a ruined battlefield, ash in the air, lightning flickering in the darkened sky. Below him, the remnants of yet another Avengers victory smoldered. But this one felt wrong. The enemy was defeated, yes. The world saved again. But at what cost? He looked down at the crater where the village once stood. There had been people here, children, families, all gone. Collateral damage in a mission Iron Man called acceptable risk. Thor had questioned it, loudly, but Stark dismissed him. "We saved billions," Tony had said, brushing off the destruction. "You want clean hands? You're in the wrong team." Those words stuck with Thor like Mjolnir to his palm. Later that night, Thor flew back to Asgard, seeking wisdom from his father. But Odin was absent, and the halls were empty. The only voice that answered him came from the shadows, from a voice that didn't belong to Asgard at all. Batman, not a hologram, not a message. Somehow he was there, waiting, cloaked in darkness, voice calm, precise. "You're not wrong to question them," Batman said. "You're just too loud about it." Thor didn't draw his hammer. He didn't need to. He listened. Batman wasn't here to threaten. He was here to warn. "A fracture is coming," Bruce continued. "Your world, our world, they're colliding. And when they do, you'll have to choose where you truly stand. With warriors who follow orders or heroes who ask questions." Thor scoffed. "You think your Justice League is pure? That your hands are clean?" Batman didn't flinch. "No, but we don't pretend they are." Then he was gone, no portal, no farewell. Just vanished like mist. Thor returned to Earth with questions gnawing at his mind. And answers came swiftly, but not the kind he wanted. The Avengers were preparing for another mission, another preemptive strike. This time against a group of enhanced children in Eastern Europe, rumored to be harboring mutant-level power signatures. Not threats, not confirmed, just possible. Black Widow voiced concern. Falcon hesitated. But Stark again was sure. "We hit them before they hit us." Thor refused. He slammed Mjolnir down on the war table and growled, "You would strike children for the sake of comfort? That is not justice. That is fear." Cap tried to mediate. "Let's take a beat." "No," Thor shouted, eyes glowing with stormfire. "You're not leading anymore. Stark is. And he's leading you down a path of cowards." The room froze. Hulk tensed. Hawkeye whispered, "You don't get to talk about cowardice, not after Sokovia." Thor turned, his voice rising. "That was tragedy, not choice. This is decision. You're choosing to be tyrants." He left the tower that night, not as a deserter, but as a god choosing a different path. And the world noticed. Media scrambled to cover it. Thor abandons Avengers, cracks in Earth's mightiest heroes. Social feeds exploded. Fans divided. Some called him a traitor. Others, a hero finally waking up. But none knew where he went. Not even Heimdall. Thor wasn't in Asgard. He wasn't in Midgard. He was in between. He crossed into Earth 23, where the skies were red and the towers taller. A parallel world, vibrating on the edge of crisis. There, Superman waited, arms crossed, cape flowing, no smile. "You're early," Clark said. "I'm tired," Thor replied. "Tired of watching power destroy truth." Superman nodded. "Then let's build something better." Thor stayed, not to escape, but to observe, to test, to understand. He fought alongside the Justice League when Darkseid sent a scout force to scout Earth's magical weak points. He sparred with Wonder Woman, blade against thunder, and she didn't hold back. He debated with Martian Manhunter about the ethics of intervention. He trained with the Flash, learned patience from Aquaman, and sat in silence with Cyborg. Two machines of war built from different tragedies. And he saw something he hadn't seen with the Avengers in years. Balance. They disagreed constantly, but they listened. They argued, but they didn't override. They had power, unimaginable power, and yet they moved slowly, carefully, intentionally. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. Then the message came. A transmission, barely stable, from Captain America. Thor, wherever you are, we need to talk. He watched it 10 times, but he didn't reply, because something else had arrived. A new portal in the heart of Metropolis. Unstable, screaming with energy, merging not just space, but timelines. From within it came echoes of destruction. A name repeated again and again. Null King. And in the chaos, one whisper. Only Thor can stand between worlds. Back on Earth, 616, the Avengers argued. Do we reach out? Steve asked. Absolutely not, Tony snapped. He chose his side. But Strange interrupted. No, he was chosen by something else. He's the hinge, the fulcrum. Thor's absence wasn't desertion. It was alignment. A new storm was forming, and the only way to stop it was to walk through the fire alone. But Thor wasn't alone anymore. The League stood with him, and soon, the Avengers would have to face the question no one wanted to ask. What happens when your God doesn't believe in you anymore? The moment Thor stepped into the Hall of Justice, the air changed. This wasn't Asgard. It wasn't Avengers Tower. It was something else, ancient and modern, chaotic but structured. The energy was strange, but welcoming. Wonder Woman met him with a stare that could split the sky. You're not one of us yet. Thor smirked. I'm not here to be one of anything. But she stepped forward, drew her sword, and pointed it at his chest. Then why are you here, God of Thunder? Silence. Then Superman answered for him. Because even gods are searching for something better. Diana lowered her blade, slightly. Then he fights with us, not behind us. That's how it began. Not with a ceremony, not with a welcome party, with a challenge. The League didn't trust him. Not completely, not yet. So they tested him. They sent him into the Obsidian Zone, a phantom realm that mirrored a world in pain. No weapons, no backup, no magic, just his will. Thor faced shadows of himself. A version where he led the Avengers into tyranny. Another where he became a destroyer, using Mjolnir as a tool of domination. One where he watched the universe burn because he refused to act. But he didn't run. He roared at them, fought them, spoke to them, forgave them. And when he emerged, there was no fanfare. Just Batman, arms crossed. You're not perfect. Thor wiped blood from his lip and nodded. Neither are you. Bruce's expression didn't change, but his silence was approval. The next day, the news broke. Thor is no longer an Avenger. It was official. S.H.I.E.L.D. confirmed it. Stark Industries pulled his access codes. The Avengers public channel scrubbed his face from every feed. The headlines wrote themselves. God of Thunder defects. Thor chooses Justice League over Avengers. Earth's mightiest heroes. Fractured. Back at Avengers HQ, tension boiled. Steve wanted to reach out. He's not our enemy. Tony was livid. He made himself one. Hulk said nothing, just cracked the floor beneath his feet. But the public was divided. #JusticeGod trended. Half the world cheered Thor's independence. The other half called him a traitor, a deserter. Some even called for his arrest. But Thor didn't care, because the League had bigger problems. Something was wrong with the multiverse. Timelines were bleeding into each other. Villains who were dead were reappearing. Cities that never existed were forming overnight. And someone or something was orchestrating it. The name came again, Null King, a being made of collapsed timelines, a fusion of machine, mind, and magic. And it was feeding on reality itself. Cyborg tried to trace it, failed. Zatanna cast protective wards. They shattered in seconds. Martian Manhunter reached out telepathically, and almost didn't come back. Then, the unthinkable happened. Mjolnir stopped responding. In the middle of a sparring session with Flash, Thor summoned his hammer. Nothing. He tried again. And again. Mjolnir sat still, silent, as if it no longer recognized him. Thor knelt before it, whispered to it, shouted at it, "Have I fallen so far?" Then he felt it. A presence. Not in the room. In his mind. It was Superman. Not speaking. Just understanding. "I know what it feels like," Clark said softly. "To be more than they want. To question everything." Thor turned to him, unsure. "Your hammer isn't rejecting you," Superman added. "It's testing you. Like the League did. Like the world is." Thor asked, "And if I fail?" Clark's answer came like steel. "Then build yourself back stronger." Days passed. Thor trained without Mjolnir. He relearned everything, every strike, every block, every movement. As a warrior without his godhood, he sparred with Diana, endured tactics training with Batman, learned how to control his storms without the hammer as a focus. And slowly, it began to return. A flicker, a hum, Mjolnir hovering, still not ready, but listening. Then came the mission. A breach in Central City. Energy readings off the scale. Civilians vanishing mid-step. Buildings dissolving like dust. The League deployed. Fast. Thor went without hesitation. At the epicenter, they found it. A hole in time, cracking open like a wound. From it poured versions of villains they'd already defeated. Reverse Flash, Black Adam, even a corrupted version of Green Lantern. All at once. All wrong. Thor fought with fists, lightning, even bare hands. But then, from the breach, came a voice. Deep, cold, familiar but broken. "Thor Odinson, you don't belong here." Then, a version of himself stepped through. Not evil, not twisted, just empty. Eyes dead, skin cracked with lightning, Mjolnir in hand, but covered in runes Thor had never seen. "I am what you become," the copy said. "When you choose neither team, when you try to stand alone." They fought, sky splitting, thunder roaring, two Thors colliding like planets. But something changed. The real Thor stepped back, looked at his corrupted self, and lowered his fists. "I don't reject who I was," he said, "but I choose who I become." He turned his back to the shadow, and Mjolnir flew into his hand, with force that shattered the air. Lightning engulfed him, and the corrupted Thor vanished in a scream of broken timelines. Back at the hall, no one spoke. Then Batman said it, "Welcome to the League." But Thor shook his head. "I'm not joining a team." They looked at him confused. "I'm building a bridge between what we were and what we need to become." Superman smiled. "Then we'd better follow your lead." Because something bigger was coming. The Null King wasn't just feeding. He was recruiting. And the next to fall might be an Avenger. Thor's name became a weapon. Everywhere it was spoken, it split the room. On Earth, governments panicked. News networks ran non-stop coverage. Analysts argued whether Thor was still an ally or the most dangerous wild card the planet had ever seen. Comment sections burned. Heroes chose sides without meaning to. And inside Avengers Tower, the damage was worse. Tony Stark watched the footage again. Thor standing beside Superman. Thor fighting threats the Avengers didn't even know existed. Thor raising Mjolnir in defense of a city that wasn't theirs. Tony slammed the screen off. "He didn't just leave," Stark said. "He replaced us." Steve Rogers stood near the window, arms crossed, jaw tight. "That's not what he's doing." Tony turned. "Then what is he doing, Steve?" "Because from where I'm standing, he made a choice. And it wasn't us." Natasha didn't speak. She had already pulled every intel thread she could find. Multiversal energy spikes. Reality fractures. A name repeating in classified channels. Null King. She finally said it out loud. "This isn't about loyalty." Something scared him. Bruce Banner looked up slowly. Something scared Thor. That was when the room fell quiet. Because fear, when it touched gods, didn't whisper. It shattered worlds. The first true consequence came 3 days later. A city vanished. Not destroyed. Not bombed, just gone. Satellite feeds showed a coastal metropolis blinking out of existence in under 3 seconds. No explosion, no crater, just a clean hole in reality where millions had been. The Avengers scrambled. Strange open portals. Vision scanned the void. Stark ran calculations that made no sense. This wasn't an attack, Tony said quietly. It was a harvest. Then the message arrived. Not to the Avengers, to Thor. It appeared in the sky above Metropolis, carved in raw energy. Bring them, or watch them fall. Thor felt it in his bones. The Null King wasn't testing power. He was testing allegiance. Batman wanted to prepare. Superman wanted to evacuate cities. Wonder Woman wanted to strike first. Thor said nothing. He opened a portal, straight into Avengers Tower. The moment Thor stepped through, every defense system locked on him. Repulsors armed. Hulk stood from his chair. Wanda's eyes glowed. Steve raised a hand. Stand down. Thor looked at them all. He didn't smile. He didn't explain. He said one sentence. He's coming for you. Tony scoffed. Nice of you to warn us after you switched jerseys. Thor stepped closer. This isn't about teams. Tony fired a warning shot anyway. Lightning exploded. The tower shook. Hulk roared and charged. Thor met him head-on. Not holding back. Not angry. Just inevitable. The impact cracked the floor through 10 levels. Hulk landed a blow that sent Thor through reinforced steel. Thor answered with thunder that knocked Hulk to his knees. But then Thor stopped. He dropped Mjolnir, and Hulk froze. "You're not my enemy," Thor said, "but you are his target." Hulk snarled. "Then fight him, not us." Thor's voice lowered. "I can't. Not alone." That was when the alarm screamed. A rift tore open above New York. Black and silver, sharp-edged, mechanical and alive. From it descended constructs shaped like heroes. Twisted reflections wearing familiar faces. One wore a broken shield. Another carried repulsors fused into bone. Another looked like Thor. The Null King's army had arrived. The Avengers reacted instantly. But something was wrong. Every move they made, the constructs predicted. Every tactic countered. Every strength mirrored. They weren't fighting enemies. They were fighting themselves. Tony realized it too late. "He learned us," Stark said. "Every weakness, every pattern." Thor grabbed Mjolnir and looked at Steve. "He's using your history against you." Then Thor turned and left. Again, not out of fear, out of strategy. He led the constructs away, drawing them toward the upper atmosphere. Lightning tore the sky apart as Thor fought a dozen reflections alone. Back below, the Avengers struggled. Hawkeye was injured. Wanda was overwhelmed. Vision was phased through and nearly torn apart. And Hulk snapped. Not into rage, into silence. He stopped fighting. Let the construct hit him. Let it speak. "You're tired," it said in Hulk's voice. "Tired of being a weapon. Join us. Be useful." The construct touched Hulk's forehead, and Hulk vanished. Taken. Thor felt it happen. A scream echoed through the storm, not sound, but loss. Thor roared. The sky answered. When Thor returned to the Hall of Justice, he didn't stand tall. He knelt. "They took him," Thor said. "And they won't stop there." Batman asked the question no one wanted to ask. "Did they let you live on purpose?" Thor nodded. "Yes." Superman clenched his fists. "Why?" Thor's eyes burned. "Because I'm the bridge, and they want me to choose which side breaks first." On Earth, the Avengers stared at the empty space Hulk once occupied. Steve whispered, "We should have listened." Tony said nothing. For the first time since he built the suit, he had no answer. And far beyond reality, the Null King smiled. Phase 1 was complete. The gods were divided. The heroes were wounded. And next, someone would cross the line willingly. The Hall of Justice was silent. No one moved. Not even Superman. Thor's words hung in the air like smoke. "They took Hulk." Wonder Woman sheathed her blade, jaw clenched. "Then we go get him." But Batman raised a hand. "Not yet." Thor turned to him. eyes flaring. You would wait. We walk into the wrong battle, and we don't come back. We plan. We strike once. Cyborg stepped forward, pulling up fractured data across the multiverse. Every feed showed the same pattern: glitches, duplicates, cities rewritten. And through them all, the Null King's influence, like a virus rewriting reality in real time. He's building something, Cyborg said. A hybrid world. Merging timelines, merging heroes. Copying powers, rewriting minds. Rewriting minds, Thor echoed. Hulk didn't fall. He was rewritten. Zatanna whispered an incantation. A pulse rippled through the chamber, tracing fragments of Hulk's aura. His soul's intact, she said, but it's misaligned. He's still in there, Superman confirmed. But we don't have much time. And then the room shifted. A portal opened, but not from a league, from the Avengers. Captain America walked through, battered, shield cracked. Behind him, Natasha limping, vision flickering. Hawkeye with a burn down his arm. They were wounded not just in body, in trust. Steve looked at Thor. We need help. The room stayed still. Thor stepped forward. Where's Stark? Steve's jaw tightened. Gone. Locked himself in some underground lab. Trying to find answers. Maybe trying to fix what broke. Thor didn't ask more. He could see it in Steve's face. Tony was falling apart. Batman didn't flinch. We bring him back when it matters. Does he matter? Wonder Woman said flatly. Silence. Until Vision spoke. He's still Iron Man, but he's no longer leading the Avengers. That was when the impossible happened. Batman extended his hand to Captain America. We fight this together. The handshake was brief, cold, but real. And that's when the plan began. They wouldn't attack the Null King directly. Not yet. Instead, they'd infiltrate one of his anchor zones, a collapsing timeline where a rewritten Hulk ruled a hybrid city of Avengers and League constructs. A test site, a failed prototype, but still dangerous. They would go in teams, not as Avengers, not as Justice League, as something else, as one. Thor and Superman would breach from above, Wonder Woman and Cap from the streets, Batman and Black Widow from below. Cyborg and Vision would synchronize tech, Zatanna and Scarlet, which would weave spells to cloak their presence. And Flash would be everywhere, at once. When they arrived, it was worse than expected. The city was wrong. The sky was cracked. Buildings shifted shapes mid-second. Civilians flickered in and out of time. Street signs wrote themselves in dead languages. And at the center, Hulk sat on a throne of vibranium and kryptonite shards. Rewritten, twisted, but not broken. He saw them, didn't attack. Instead, he said 4 words. He's inside me now. Thor stepped forward. Banner, listen to me. No, Hulk growled. There is no banner. Then he stood, and the earth shook. Around him, constructs rose. An Iron Man made of bones. A Flash that left trails of screams. A Martian manhunted dripping oil. And behind them all, a shape in the sky. The Null King. Just a silhouette. Just watching. Thor raised Mjolnir. So did the Hulk. Because his arm, it wasn't his anymore. It was Thor's. Fused. Stolen. Rewritten with Asgardian runes. He was wielding Mjolnir's twin. An echo hammer, forged in the void, powered by Thor's own past. They clashed, and it shattered the city. Lightning met Gamma. Magic collided with rage. Around them, the teams fought together. Diana fighting back-to-back with Natasha. Steve shielding Flash from a blast. Batman coordinating with Vision in perfect silence. But Thor was falling. Hulk was stronger, faster, and worst of all, he remembered everything. Every failure, every insult, every moment he felt like the weapon and Thor the god. You left me. Hulk roared. Thor blocked the hammer, barely. I tried to save you. You chose them. I chose balance. Another blow sent Thor through a tower. Blood dripped from his brow. Then Hulk raised the twin hammer and aimed to end it. Until Superman caught it with one hand. Hulk looked up, and Superman did not blink. "You're not alone," Clark said. "We're all tired. We're all broken. But this isn't you." Hulk trembled for the first time. And in that moment, Wanda and Zatanna finished the spell. A light shot through the sky, a pulse of memory, truth, and pain. It hit Hulk in the chest, and the scream that followed broke every window for a mile. When the smoke cleared, Hulk was on his knees, breathing, sweating, free. Thor approached slowly. Hulk didn't look up. He's still watching. They turned to the sky. The Null King was gone, left behind only one message, burned into the clouds. "You can save each other, but you cannot save me." Back at the hall, the heroes regrouped. Some wounded, some changed, but united. Cap looked at Batman. "What now?" Bruce didn't hesitate. "Now we stop surviving." Thor raised his hand. "We start leading." And deep in the void, the Null King whispered to himself. They think this was the test. He stepped forward into a control chamber made of broken timelines. Behind him stood a shadow. Tall, gold armor, red cape, eyes glowing. A second Thor, still waiting to be unleashed. They thought it was over. Hulk was free. The teams were unified. The Null King had vanished. But deep in the cracks of the multiverse, something was still wrong. Time no longer flowed straight. Days reset without warning. Heroes felt echoes of battles they hadn't fought yet. Nightmares showed versions of themselves twisted into tyrants. And always that same whisper behind it all. "You cannot save me." Thor felt it most. Every time he raised Mjolnir, it was heavier. Not in weight, in memory. It pulsed with regret, burned with questions. And worst of all, it was starting to show him visions. Not of enemies, of himself. Not just one, hundreds, thousands. Alternate Thors, broken by different choices. One who stayed with the Avengers and led them into conquest. One who ruled Asgard with an iron fist. One who abandoned Midgard entirely, letting Earth burn. They all ended the same, alone. And at the center of those visions, a throne, made of crushed hammers. And sitting on it, Thor. But not the one we know. This Thor had no team, no balance, no compassion, only wrath. And his eyes were exactly like the Null King's. That's when the truth broke. The Null King wasn't a new enemy. He was Thor, an ancient version, a collapsed branch of the timeline, formed when Thor made all the wrong choices. The Avengers failed. The League betrayed him. His home was gone, his soul cracked. And in that void he became something else, something monstrous. Not just a god, but a god who no longer believed in gods. He killed the multiverse one world at a time, looking for one where someone could stop him. And he never found it. Until now. Because this version of Thor, the one standing with both teams, was different. He hadn't run from doubt. He'd embraced it. He hadn't picked a side. He built a bridge. The Null King knew it and feared it. So he launched one final plan. He didn't attack cities. He attacked time. Across the multiverse, every moment where Thor made a choice began to unravel. Reality folded in. Memories warped. Teams broke apart, not in present day, but in the past. Tony never built the suit. Clark never left Krypton. Bruce never became Batman. It was all being rewritten. At the epicenter, the first hammer. The original source of Thor's power, buried in a realm between timelines, sealed away even from Odin's memory. The Null King was heading there. If he absorbed it, he would become the only Thor across all realities. No past, no future, just one god. So the united heroes followed him. They didn't take ships. They didn't open portals. They let time break and rode the fragments like waves. Superman tore through seconds like atmosphere. Flash carried Batman through collapsing loops. Scarlet Witch and Zatanna rewove the air like threads. And Thor, the true Thor, led them straight into the eye of the paradox. They found the Null King inside the realm of the first hammer. The air was heavy with memory. Statues of every hero he had erased floated like ghosts. Shields, cowls, capes, all shattered. He was waiting. No army, no speech, just a question. Why do you keep trying to save what always turns on you? Thor stepped forward. Because I still believe we can be more. The Null King laughed, and the sky bled. You think you're better than me? No, Thor said. I think I learned from you. Then it began. The final fight. Not between good and evil, but between the version that gave up and the one that refused to. The Null King summoned storms that tore universes apart, thunder that echoed across centuries. He wielded the first hammer, and it answered him with darkness. Thor fought with lightning and fire, but also with memory. Every blow carried weight, not just power, regret. He showed the Null King what he became, who he lost. He didn't try to destroy him. He tried to reach him, but it wasn't enough. The Null King struck the ground, opening a void beneath him. It pulled at everything. The League, the Avengers, the very timelines they came from. Reality began to fold. That's when Iron Man appeared. No suit, just Tony, bruised, bloodied, carrying a cube of compressed time. I built something, he said, coughing. Something that can collapse this realm before he fuses with the first hammer. But someone has to activate it from inside. Everyone went silent. Tony looked at Thor. I'm not the god here. Thor stepped forward, but Superman stopped him. You don't have to do this alone. Then Diana, then Steve, then Bruce, then Wanda. One by one, they formed a circle, a unified ring of past and present, of Avengers and Justice League. Not heroes of a world, heroes of all worlds. They poured their power into Thor, not to make him stronger, to ground him, to remind him of who he was and who he could still be. Thor turned to the Null King one last time. No one's saving you, he said, but I forgive you. And then he slammed Mjolnir and the cube together. Light, noise, silence, then breath. Reality reset. The skies cleared. The statues were gone. And so was the Null King. But the first hammer remained, floating in stasis. Thor didn't touch it. He turned away. I don't need to be the only Thor, he said. I just need to be this one. Back on Earth, the world rebooted. Memories returned. Timelines healed. Tony rebuilt the tower, this time with help. Clark flew slower, spoke softer. Bruce smiled. Just once, Thor stood at the edge of the sky. He had no team, no title, just a purpose. And when people asked him what side he was on now, he only said one thing. I'm not here to choose sides anymore. I'm here to make sure no one stands alone again.